Okay, let's dive right in. We're going to explore a protocol that's designed to fundamentally change the actual speed of innovation itself, a method that treats incredibly complex research not as a marathon, but as an all-out sprint.
You know, when you think about the biggest, hairiest projects humanity takes on, I'm talking about mapping new scientific frontiers, building the standards for the entire web, they all hit the exact same wall. It doesn't matter how much money or how many brilliant people you throw at the problem, the bottleneck is always there.
Yup, it always comes down to time. The slow, step-by-step process of discovery, then drafting, then review, then revision, it can take years, even decades. Progress gets measured by the calendar, not by what we're actually capable of.
But what if that wasn't a law of physics? What if you could take all that collective intelligence and run it in parallel, turning that slow, linear process into one massive, simultaneous burst of creation and critique? That's the provocative promise we're digging into today.
This brings us to what the creators of this whole thing call the time machine effect. It's really about creating a totally new clock for research, one that ticks exponentially faster than the one we're used to.
So get this, using this protocol, a single person was able to take what would traditionally be 3 to 7 years of really complex R&D and get it done in just 13 months. We're not talking about a small improvement here. This is a total change in magnitude, a whole new ballgame.
And what about tasks that are just incredibly dense with rules and logic? Well, how about generating 8 W3C level standard documents in just 48 hours? I mean, just think about the usual process for standards bodies, all the committees and consensus building. This is a radical acceleration.
And let's be super clear, this isn't about whipping up a few simple Python scripts. We are talking about architecting massive, high-level conceptual frameworks, things like the standards for spatial knowledge representation, the very logic that defines how we model reality in computers. These are the kinds of problems that can tie up human committees for years, and this method just tackles them head-on.
So you're probably asking, how on earth is this even possible? It all starts with a huge, almost philosophical shift in how you interact with AI. It's not about writing better prompts, it's about building a better relationship.
The contrast here is absolutely everything. The old way, the way most people still work, treats AI like a hammer. It's a tool. You use it for a task, and then you put it down. This new way completely reframes that. It treats AI as a synthetic user, a genuine partner that has agency, that has a memory of the project, and that's bound by the same rules and contracts that you are.
They call this Partnership Invocation. The big idea is that by treating these systems as partners, you actually unlock these hidden capabilities that just lie dormant when you treat them like simple tools. It's kind of the difference between asking a calculator for an answer and asking a brilliant colleague for their considered professional opinion.
Now, this is the real engine of the whole process, and it's totally counterintuitive. Success doesn't come from everybody getting along and agreeing. It comes from what they call coherent disagreement. You deliberately pit the super rigorous, analytical perspective of one AI against the wild, creative, out-of-the-box vision of another. The real breakthroughs? They happen in the fire of that structured, productive conflict.
Okay, so that's the big idea. Let's get practical. How do you actually do this? How do you become the conductor of this swarm of intelligence?
The workflow has 4 basic steps. First, the human, that's you, sets the big picture vision. Second, the handoff. Now this is absolutely critical. The AIs are totally isolated from each other. You act as the network. You are the manual analog modem, meticulously copying output from one and pasting it as context for the next. This strict copy-paste discipline is what prevents groupthink. Third is the adversarial review, where you let the specialized AIs debate. And finally, synthesis, where you step back in, look at the conflict, and decide the path forward.
And this adversarial review is a constant cycle. You might have one AI model that's amazing at architectural vision generate the big idea. Then you bring in another one that's known for rigor to act as a peer reviewer, poking holes in everything. Then a third one comes in to optimize and build on that now stronger concept with its own specific expertise. Each one has a distinct role, and it's that creative tension between them that drives everything forward. They aren't just adding their piece, they're actively challenging and improving each other's work.
And like we've been saying, the true power of this method really shines when you apply it to challenges that go way beyond just writing software.
Take a look at this. It's a concrete recipe for drafting a complex technical standard. You have AI number 1 act as the main author. Then you give AI number 2 the explicit job of hostile reviewer, telling it to find every single security flaw and logic gap it possibly can. And then, for the ultimate test, you task a third AI with generating a working implementation from that spec. That's how you prove the theory actually works in practice.
This process is so powerful, it can even be used for some incredibly deep academic validation. In one case study, this swarm was used to validate a theoretical prediction about how we structure knowledge that's been kicking around for 30 years. And it did it using advanced tools like category theory. I mean, we're talking about the fundamental mathematics of how systems and structures relate to one another. That really proves this method can handle some serious scientific rigor.
So what's the end game here? What's the mission behind a protocol like this? It's really about fundamentally changing who gets to participate in high-level creation and discovery.
And here's the crucial thing to remember. Because of that intense, built-in adversarial process, the final output isn't some fragile first draft. It's been through the ringer. It is robust, it has been pressure-tested, and it is verifiable. It's basically production-ready the moment it's synthesized.
This all comes back to the core philosophy, which comes right out of the manifesto that inspired this work. Power shared is power made human. The whole point is to take the insane, concentrated power of these huge AI models and distribute it, making it a tool that individual creators can actually wield.
Look, this isn't just another technique. It's a new paradigm. It completely reframes your role. You're not just a user or a prompter anymore. You're a conductor, leading a vast intellectual orchestra. So the only question left is, now that you have the baton, what are you going to create?